Hello there, this is Fabio. This is what my voice sounds like. So I've decided to add some audio to these preview videos because I can't quite show everything I want to with just like the cursor movement. So hopefully the audio will add some value. If it doesn't, I guess you can just mute the video or something. So let's go to the second point of today's roadmap. First of all, let's enable shortcuts screencasting so that you guys can follow along better. Redesign. So the app changed a bit. Actually, this is version 1.8. Maybe we can see them side by side. So mainly what changed is the list component and tree component. Things are more spaced around. There is just more space around items. And the sidebar has been redesigned quite a bit. There are no icons anymore. I think it looks cleaner. And sections are better separated. And you can see how the selected background now doesn't spawn the entire row, but it's more targeted to the item, if that makes sense. The chevrons are now animated, finally. The attachments editor popover changed a bit. I think it looks cleaner. What else? Yeah, the UI now is more stable. Like previously, when you moved a node to the trash, the currently active node changed, but now it remains the same. I think it makes the app easier to use. And also, if you switch to another tag and the currently active node is not tagged with that tag, still the currently active node doesn't change, so more of the same thing. And same for the multi-node editor. You can change tags, add more nodes from some other place, and everything works. So next up. So focus mode changed. Now it basically means that either it means that the sidebar and the middle bar are hidden, and that's basically it. You can also just hide the middle bar, which I think gives the app this interesting layout. At least I quite like it. But the sidebar becomes kind of useless, maybe. Next, multi-tag selection. So let me show the middle bar again. Multi-tag selection. Now you can select multiple tags in the sidebar at once, and the nodes that will be searched into will be only the ones that are tagged with all the active tags. So this gets interesting perhaps when you add a pending tag or something like that. So here you can see there are lots of pending tags, but if we want to find only the basics nodes that are pending, then you can select both with a command click or control click, and now you can narrow down the list of nodes. I think it's pretty handy. And also if you create a new node right now, it will be tagged with all the active tags, so that could be interesting as well. What else? The multi-node editor changed a bit. Now there are a few more actions. Select all, invert selection, clear selection. Copy links. We'll copy links to all the active nodes. There's also copy markdown links and copy paths, which could be interesting when doing some scripting. Yeah, but that's about it as far as the multi-node editor goes. Basically, buttons are a little smaller. I think they fit better with the rest of the UI, and they are better aligned. Like they are more symmetrical. Like the layout is more symmetrical. Next, tabs. So basically, the way it worked before, it was that there was kind of just one active node, but now this concept has been kind of generalized. What you see now is basically kind of one tab which is not persistent, and you can make it persistent when you double click on a node. So for instance, and that's a tab. So then you can like open other nodes, and you can see the tab is not persistent. It becomes persistent when you double click on it. There's also an option for just using persistent tabs, and you can have as many tabs as you want, and it's quite handy. There is a special context menu here. It does all the like everything you would expect it to do. That's it for tabs. So we've had these special URLs for a while that start with a @ sign, and now protocol URLs that start with notable : / support all the actions that those @URLs could do. So now you can use this kind of URLs for linking to attachments, comments, notes, searches, shortcuts, tags, and that's about it. Also, it's interesting the way you can link to a node. Basically, you can use the title or the file name or like the full path as well, but that is not very ergonomic. Next, quick links. Yes, quick links. So quick links, basically we had wiki style links before, which were like an ND syntax for linking to nodes, like quickly. Now I've kind of generalized that syntax, and you can use it for linking to everything protocol URLs can link to. So like attachments, commands, nodes, searches, tags, and let's get to this later. So attachments, basically you can you have to wrap between double brackets the relative path to the attachments folder of an attachment, or you can just use the file name, and the app will try to find your attachment. You can also render attachments this way, just by adding like a bang before the double brackets. Relative paths are supported as well. You can link to commands. So how does the app distinguishes between a node and a command? Basically, you have to prefix the thing you put between double brackets with this greater than sign for commands, and for nodes there is no prefix, because that's probably the most common kind of quick link you will write. You can also link to searches by prefixing the thing with an equal sign. Link to tags just by adding an hash. And like if none of that matches, like if you write something and the app doesn't find a node for that query, and it doesn't find an attachment either, then the link becomes like a bidirectional link. But like I can show you how this thing works, but it's super crude right now. So basically you add like this link, foo, and when you click it, the app will search for this exact thing. that will basically show all the nodes containing the same bidirectional link. It's a bit crude, as I said. It will be improved. And also in these quick links, lastly, you can have like a custom label or title, I guess. If you write this pipe and then some text at the end of the quick link, this works for everything in here. That's it for quick links. What's next? Sharing multiple nodes. Yes. So now multiple nodes can be shared with a single link. So here it tells you that the link will be valid for 24 hours. There's been some confusion about that. So link copied to clipboard. Here it is, table, code, tasks. Printing. So now nodes can be printed right from the app. I just do it like that. And you can also print multiple nodes at once. And also interestingly, when you print a node, it will be rendered using a special theme that it's made for printing, that it kind of minimizes the ink usage a bit. You can customize this theme as well if you want to change a few things for printing. Export modes. So now there are like multiple export modes. So here I've selected 3 nodes and I'm gonna export them. So there are a few new formats as well. We'll get to those later. So let's pick, I don't know, PDF. So there are 2 new modes, separate and single. Separate is basically how it worked before. It will create, the app will create a new file for each node, and it will also export attachments. In this case, there were no attachments. So here we have 3 files, a few wrapper folders. But if this time we select single mode, only 1 file will be outputted, which is quite handy, I think. Export formats. So now there are a few more export formats. So let's go, where is it? Export. So we have JPEG. It's not particularly useful actually, but I don't know, I could add it, so I added it. Might be useful like for sharing snippets in a chat or something. There's also PNG. Then maybe the more useful JSON. So JSON is intended to be used for like piping your nodes into another program. So like if you want to generate a website from your nodes or something, you can export your nodes to JSON, and like this way you will not need to parse the YAML front matter or do anything special. Here there is all the metadata. It might be also useful for migrating to other apps maybe. Next, palette. So this is pretty interesting, I think. So now we have this thing, the palette, and like inside this thing there are like multiple palettes. It will make sense once I start like using it. So basically this abstract component is just a searchable list. And actually, let me turn on the screencasting again. So when you like press Command P or Control P on Windows and Linux, you will open up the palette. It also works with Command O. And like inside the palette, the results, the items that you can search vary depending on the prefix of the query. So like there is no prefix right now, and the palette is showing me nodes and attachments, which is what I would probably want to search for most of the times. But like if I add a greater than sign, now I'm searching for commands, and I can trigger any of this. The list obviously is also searchable, and there are actually quite a few prefixes. So if you use the question mark prefix, you can see a list of all the prefixes. So let's go maybe through all of this. So question mark, it will show you just all the available prefixes. Palette, same thing. Greater than, we already saw this. There is a list of commands. Command, same thing. Hash, here there is a list of all tags. This is actually quite useful, maybe if you are in Zen mode and you want to like switch tags, or maybe Zen mode isn't the right mode, because changing tags wouldn't really change anything. So maybe you're like in this mode where the sidebar is hidden, and you open the palette, you type the bang character, and then you can like change tag even if the sidebar is not visible. And also from here, I forgot to mention this. So I don't know if you notice it, but there are no longer the all notes sections below notebooks and tags. But actually they are still selectable, but a bit hidden. You can select them from the palette, notebooks all. I don't think you should really tag your notes with just notebooks. I think you should be like more specific and put your notes in a specific notebook. So I'm hiding that section also to discourage like this kind of usage. So let's get back to the palette. So there is tag, same thing as this. Attachment, it will let you filter just all the attachments. Emoji, there is a searchable emoji palette. I don't know if you want to like maybe discover new emojis, this could be useful. And like when you click on an emoji, it will be copied to the clipboard. And like when you click on an attachment, it will open that attachment. Click on a tag, it will select that tag. Click on a command, trigger that command. Yes, help will show you all the help pages. Also, by the way, there are some shortcuts for quickly like selecting items in the palette without needing to like explicitly move into it. These help pages I've not written yet, so I'll show you next time. Language lists all the available languages for syntax highlighting. So like you can check if the language you want to syntax highlight is actually supported, and if you click on it, it will copy the language identifier that you should use. Note, just a list of notes. Actually, yeah, note attachment, it will show a list of all the attachments in the current node, but the current node doesn't have any attachments, so let's select this one. No attachment, there we go. Obviously, writing each time node attachment is not like particularly ergonomic, but you can bind the custom shortcuts to this, so we'll see that another time. So what else? Node tag, it will let you filter all the tags that are like that the current node is tagged with. Sort, for quickly changing the sort dimension or order. Sort dimension, only the dimensions. sort order, only orders. What's next? Tab, theme, default. So let's say we have a few tabs. You can switch between them. This might be useful if you're like in Zen mode where nothing is visible, but this way you will still be able to switch between tabs. Then there was theme for like changing theme. By the way, the themes have been completely rewritten and are now customizable, but we'll get to that another time. So did we miss any? Default is kind of a stupid palette. Like you don't need to type default because that's the default one you get if you don't type anything. So that's it for the palette. So now this, since I added tags, I thought the app should save like the state of multiple nodes and not just the last one. So for example, let's take maybe a long node like this one. So let's say we scroll it a bit, we select this thing, then we switch back to preview, we go down here, we select JSON, go to another node, maybe another long one, like this one. Now we scroll a bit here, we select absolute, then we go back to the one we selected earlier, and you can see it remembers where the cursor was and what was selected, and this works up to 50 nodes, and this also works in preview, including selections, which is quite interesting. Like I didn't know you could actually save the state of the selections, but apparently you can. So that's it. Improved rendering performance. So actually the rendering of nodes has been, the performance of rendering nodes has been improved quite massively. So this is 1.8. If you remember, we had a large emoji table that took like forever, or emoji list here, I guess. It took forever to render, and here we have kind of the same thing, and it takes like not that much time at all, and actually this could be improved a lot. But like the difference is quite noticeable, I think. Like here, nothing happens for a good second. Indentation guides. So switch to the editor. So now you can you can toggle some settings about the editor from here, and I've added a new one, which is this one. It shows you the indentation guides. I think it's quite useful. Attachments never deleted. So now when you remove okay, let's capture this. I needed a file to add as an attachment. So I was saying when you delete an attachment from a node, it will not actually delete it from your nodes directory. So here, copied it over. Now we remove it, and the attachment is still here. Yeah, I think deleting attachments was a mistake. And now actually nothing is really deleted. So like if we move this node to the trash and we attempt to delete it, it will say that the app will attempt to move it to the OS trash. So let's go to the trash. So we have this currently. Let's open it again. So we say, yeah, delete it. It will be actually moved to the trash. So you will pretty much never lose anything. even accidentally. So save notification, this is like a small thing, but like I often need Command S for saving something, even though I don't really need to. And now when I do that, there will be like a super quick saved notification, like that. I think it's a nice touch. New context menus. So I think right now there are 17 different context menus implemented, and before there were like 8 or 9 maybe. So you should play around with the app a bit. Like there are a lot more. There are a lot more things within them as well. Updated menu app. So the menu app has been updated as well. I'll just give you a quick run through it. Notice settings, shortcuts. So yeah, from here actually you can open, like as I mentioned before, there are like different palettes inside the palette, let's say, and if you want to open just a single one without needing to write the prefix, you can pick it from here. There are also like commands for all this. So here you can just search emojis and you cannot really switch to any other palette. What else? Next up. Yeah, now we have a Twitter account actually. You might want to follow that, the Notable app on Twitter. I think that's about it. The Process Explorer you saw already. That's about it for today, but let's have a quick sneak peek on the next preview video I'm gonna do, which will be about customizing everything. So let's start with the settings editor. So here's the settings editor. There are global level settings and data directory level settings, which is quite powerful. These are all the colors that you can customize. There are quite a few. Shortcuts, actually, let me show line numbers. Shortcuts, these are the default ones. There are quite a few, and you can add as many as you want. Also here, global level and data directory level settings are possible. Context keys, if you are familiar with VS Code, you know what these things are. Commands, these are all the implemented commands. There are quite a lot of them. Theming, actually, let me just show you a brief preview of theming. So we have theme, colors. Actually, let's close this thing. Oh, what happened? Looks like a bug. So colors. So these are all the themable colors, and we'll theme just this one. Actually, the interesting thing here, I'll just mention it briefly, is that many of these colors are derived from some other of these colors. So like you don't need to change all of them to have a completely different looking theme. So for example, here the primary background is the X color for the X encoding, like for white, and the background over and background active colors of the primary color are derived from this. So now I'm about to change it, and these two colors as well as many others should update. So colors, primary, background, and let's do pink, why not? Here it is, a more fashionable theme, and you can see that these colors updated as well. And let's remove this for now. We'll take a look at this more in depth another day. So that's all for today. Hopefully it wasn't like too cringy. I don't know, like recording my voice was a little weird. Hopefully you're excited about the next release. I like tabs a lot. Yeah, I can't wait to publish this thing. Like pretty much everything changed. But we are getting close. So bye bye. See you next time.